This video will provide you with information on how to do several items related to Microsoft Word. The first is to copy text from Microsoft Word Online and paste them into Microsoft Word on your client version or the computer. We'll look at changing the size of the margins, which is the area around the outside of your document. We will put it into a two-column format so that you have a left side and a right side on your page, very similar to a newspaper. And we'll also change the font and size of the text. Then we'll look at some images, and we'll copy and paste images from Google out on the internet and put them into your text so that your paragraph will actually wrap around the images that you put into your page. We'll then position the image so it's easily readable and that it is proportional to the page, which just means that we're going to eliminate all this white space if possible. Finally, we'll put in some shape dividers, and then we will save our document. So the first thing that we need to do is we need to go out to Microsoft, or we need to find a paragraph or some text that we've already composed. I'm just going to go into my OneDrive and I'm going to take a look at a summary and a reflection that I have written. And then I'm just going to copy those and I'm going to bring them over into my Word document on my computer. Okay, so I'm going to go into my folder from the current year 2016-2017. I'm going to look at just the paragraphs that I've written. I'm going to go Edit Document. Now, a very easy way is just to click Edit in Word, and that will open up your client version. But I do want to show you how to copy everything, so we'll go into the online version, and you know you're online because it says so up in the corner. We simply do a Control-A, and that selects all our text. We do a Control-C, and that will copy our text. We go down to our bottom browser down here, and we're going to go File, New, and we're going to open up a blank document. Then we simply go Control-V as in Victor or Valentine's Day, and that will paste everything on our page. We can scroll in and out by holding the Control and rolling on the mouse, and that will reduce or increase our size. At this point, we're going to do Control-A to select all, and we're going to choose Left Align and move everything to the left side. We're going to do Page Layout, click on that at the top of the screen, and choose our margins. We have some options, and if we choose Narrow, that gives us the most room on the page with still being able to print for our text and pictures. Then we're going to make some columns, and we're still in Page Layout. We're going to choose Columns, and we're going to pick 2. And you can see that depending on which column you pick, it will move those for you. We're going to stick with 2 because that's a pretty good one to insert some pictures and still have some room. Now you'll notice that everything is kind of combined together. So let's put our cursor in after our heading, and we'll hit Enter, and we'll create some space. Now the other thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight here, and I want to go to my home, and I want to center everything. Okay, I kind of like the look of that. I like my heading centered, and then my title and my author. Now I do want my title to stick out a little bit compared to my heading and my author, so I'm going to bump that up to about size 20. I'm also going to change the font so it looks a little bit different than everything else, and I might take it up to 22 if it'll fit. Okay, that's good. I'm going to bring Caitlin Lewis back up by hitting the backspace so that she is underneath the title, and now I have my summary and I have my personal reaction. As it sits on the page, we've got a lot of white space, so we need to put in some pictures and images, and we need to move some things around. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put my cursor by personal reaction, and I'm going to hit Enter a couple times, just so I separate those two. Okay. Then on top, I'm going to say, okay, I want to put a picture in here that deals with September 11th, the Twin Towers, something along the line of patriotism. So I'm going to jump out to the internet, I'm going to go to Google, and I'm going to put in September 11th. You'll notice that if I click on Images, I get some categories at the top. We get some rather violent images of the day, some smoke and some fire and things like that. So if you want something that's not quite as violent, you can pick something from the top. And they got some interesting images I really like this one. It's pretty straightforward. It's got a flag. People get the message. Okay, I'm going to right click and I'm going to copy. Then I'm going to go back to my Word document and I'm going to go to the spot where I'd like to insert that image. Okay, and I think maybe just right at the beginning would be good. So I'm going to right click and I'm going to paste. Now it comes in huge and all my text moves and I don't want to panic. I simply take my cursor and I click on my picture and the small icon for text wrapping appears. I'm going to click on that and I get some options. The middle one right here is going to put the text as close to the picture as possible. So now if I choose that and I move my picture, you can see that the words are going to go around my picture. If I shrink my picture in, it looks more like an icon and they come around the side. Okay, so I'm going to put this at the very beginning and I'd like my text to start right at the picture. So I'm going to put my cursor and I'm going to backspace to pull that text over. Okay, so I kind of like this and it wraps around and it looks good. Now if maybe I want one at the end, since I have Freedom Tower, I can jump back out to Google and I can put in Freedom Tower and select a picture. Okay, and this is kind of a nice image here because it gives you New York. It gives you the really good view. So I'm going to right click, I'm going to copy that, and then I'm going to come back to my document. I'm going to put my cursor where I would like that to be, and then I'm going to paste. And that's going to paste it in. Again, it moves everything. However, we're just going to left click. We're going to choose our icon. We're going to wrap that tight. We're going to make our picture a little bit smaller. Notice it put it in the personal reaction. I'm just simply going to left click and slide it back up to where I think I would like that to go. I think I'd like it right at the end. And maybe I'll make that just a bit smaller and slide that in. So it's very movable. Now the only thing we don't want to do is put it right in the middle, because you can see that makes it difficult for people to follow where our text is going. If it gets bigger or if it gets smaller, you can see the text. So try to keep your pictures to the left or to the right of your column. Okay, and as we do that, we can adjust the picture, and you can see that my personal reaction now is at the bottom of the page. To get that to the second column, I'm going to put my cursor and I'm going to hit the enter button. And instead of going to a page 2, my personal reaction now goes to the second column. You can see my picture moved, but that's very simple. I just moved that back up to where I think I would like that in my document. And it's just a matter of adjusting a little bit and playing with this. In this section then, we probably want to insert a picture, so we're going to jump out there to the Google again, and we'll put in patriotism. Okay, we're just going to grab a nice picture that goes along with patriotism, so I'm going to copy that, right click, copy. I'm going to bring this back into my document. Okay, in here I talk about very proud to live in a country with people, so maybe right here I think this would be a great place. I'm going to right click, I'm going to insert. It's going to kind of mess things up a little, but I left click on it again. There's my icon for wrapping text. I click on that. I adjust the size until I'm happy with that. Maybe I'm going to move that over onto this side this time. And so now I've inserted some pictures. The other thing that I'd like to do is, if you take a look, you can see how big the title is here. I think I want to bump my personal reaction size up a little bit. So I'm going to take that up to like 22 also. And I'm going to change that so it sticks out a little bit. I'm going to pick something different. Now you notice that it made 2 lines instead of 1. Well, I'll just take that back down to size 20, 18, 16. Okay, and I like that on 1 line. So I'm also going to go up to home and I'm going to center that like I did my other. And then I'm going to put my cursor here because I think I want a little space between the two. Now we have some white space in the top, so I can put my cursor at the beginning of the P and I can backspace, and that will pull it back up the screen, and that's what we want to do. And we're eliminating some of that. Then I can move my symbol of pride in America there. And if you look at our page, we've eliminated a lot of white space and we've inserted some pictures that make it look pretty nice. Again, we do have some white space at the bottom, so we can now play with our size of our text a little bit. So I'm going to highlight just this part. I'm going to say, okay, what happens if I take it to 14? Well, you can see it goes on to the second column. So I'm going to type in 13, and then you can say it stays in the first column. This again is just a matter of playing with the size in order to get where it should be on the page. Okay, it moved my personal reaction up, so I'm going to put my cursor and I'm going to backspace again. I'm going to choose my text on this side and I'm going to make it 13. Type it in, 1, 3, type it in, hit enter. Okay, and then it looks pretty even. Now, the only other thing we wanted to do to the actual document was let's separate our header from our actual article. And to do that, we can insert a shape by clicking the Insert tab and then clicking Shapes. I'm going to use a very basic line, and I simply left-click, drag, and then when I release that, it will make a line. Now, if you can see, my line looks a little crooked. I simply click on it, I can straighten it out, okay, and I've created a separation between my heading and my first summary article. Now, if we wanted to further separate, we can simply click on Shapes, and we can go down the middle, and that will separate the two articles. Okay, both our summary and our personal reaction. We can still click on these lines, for instance, if we want these to join, and have those connect. So in essence, we've now taken two paragraphs that we had written in pretty good format, but just as paragraphs, and we've added some extra things that make them a little bit more appealing and more attractive if they were presented or posted up on a wall. Okay, more of a newspaper look. We've wrapped our pictures, we've changed the size and font, we've created some dividers. The only thing left that we need to do now is to save. So we're going to go to our file, Save As. You'll probably want to save in your OneDrive. Okay, so we'll choose OneDrive for Dubuque Community. Language is the folder that I've created, and in this case I'm just going to save this. I'm going to stretch this out. This is the document that I had been working on. This was a number 3, so in this case I've created yet another new one, so this will be my example 4. And I'm going to click Save, and you'll notice that the name changes from document 3 to whatever title you give that. This was my number 4. Okay. So in this short video today, we've copied some text from Microsoft Word Online and put it into the client. We've changed our margins so that we can fit more on the page. We've created a 2-column format to make it look like a newspaper. We've changed the font and size of the text so that it can differentiate from one article to the other, and we've copy and pasted images from the internet. Then we've taken those images and we've wrapped our text around the images. We've positioned them so they're very easy to read. We've adjusted the size to eliminate some of the white space. We've inserted some dividers, and then we've correctly saved our document. So hopefully these directions will guide you in taking your 2 paragraphs and making a poster that's visually appealing and ready to be sent out and shown to those in our community. Best of luck, and make sure that you ask if you have any questions as you go through this process. Thank you.